They called him Rex, a name, perhaps, chosen for its strength, its echo of dominion. But Rex was not born to rule. He was born to serve. From the moment his eyes flickered open to the harsh light of a world defined by human will, his destiny was sealed. He was not a companion to be cherished, but a tool to be honed. No gentle lullabies soothed his puppy cries. No soft hands offered comfort without purpose. Only the stern commands, the taut leash, the distant, jarring sound of gunshots. These were the rhythms of his early life, shaping him into an instrument of the hunt. Discipline was his only affection, duty his sole reward. Rex was a magnificent specimen, a testament to selective breeding for a singular, demanding purpose. His frame was lean, powerful, built for speed and endurance. His senses were exquisitely sharp, his nose a finely tuned instrument capable of discerning the faintest trace of scent across vast, indifferent landscapes. Every weekend, without fail, he would be loaded into the back of a dusty pickup truck, the rumble of the engine a prelude to his arduous labor. His world was a blur of fields and forests, his focus unwavering as he tracked, retrieved, and obeyed. He never questioned the purpose, never sought more than the fleeting acknowledgement of his master. A nod, a brief, gruff pat, a whispered "good boy." These meager offerings were the sun around which his entire universe revolved. For Rex, and for countless dogs like him, the master's happiness was the ultimate, all-consuming goal. He gave everything, holding nothing back. Rain lashed down, chilling him to the bone, yet he ran. The sun beat mercilessly, baking the earth, yet he ran. Thorns tore at his paws, mud sucked at his powerful legs, yet he ran. He pursued the fleeing game not out of an innate desire to chase, but because it pleased his human. It fulfilled his perceived purpose. This was the essence of his being, an unwavering, profound loyalty that transcended comfort, pain, and even self-preservation. It was a loyalty born of instinct, yes, but nurtured by a deep, almost spiritual connection to the one who held his fate in their hands. He was a living, breathing testament to devotion, a silent promise kept with every stride, every retrieve. But time, that relentless, indifferent force, is a cruel master to all living things. And loyalty, however pure, however absolute, often finds itself tragically undervalued in the wrong hands. As the seasons turned and years accumulated, Rex's once boundless energy began to wane. The spring in his step gave way to a subtle stiffness, then a pronounced limp. His powerful joints, once so fluid, now ached with a persistent, dull throb. The keen edge of his senses began to dull. His nose, once infallible, faltered on the faintest trails. The speed that had defined him, the swiftness that had made him a champion, slowly, inexorably, diminished. Yet, even as his body betrayed him, Rex's spirit remained unbroken. He still tried. With every ounce of his fading strength, he pushed himself, striving to meet the impossible standards of his youth. He would look back, his eyes still bright with an unquenchable desire to please, searching for that familiar nod of approval. Even when left in the biting cold, his tail would offer a weak, hopeful wag, a silent plea for recognition, for kindness. He was a creature of habit, of ingrained devotion, unable to comprehend a world where his worth was measured solely by his diminishing utility. He was still Rex, still loyal, still yearning for the love he had always given so freely. To his owner, however, Rex was no longer the champion he once was. The man whose life had been made easier, whose hunts had been made successful by Rex's tireless efforts, saw only decline. The dog was no longer an asset. He was a liability, a burden, a useless tool, worn out and ready to be discarded. The bond, which Rex had held sacred, was, for the man, merely a transactional arrangement, now expired. This cold, utilitarian view of a sentient being is a moral failing, a profound lack of empathy that strips away the inherent value of life itself. It is a chilling reminder that when we reduce living creatures to mere instruments, we open the door to unimaginable cruelty. One morning, the air hung heavy with an unspoken dread. The man led Rex behind the house, a place usually reserved for quiet moments, for rest. He tied the old dog to a post, the rope a familiar, yet now ominous restraint. "Stay here," the man commanded, his voice devoid of its usual gruffness, replaced by an unsettling flatness. For a fleeting moment, Rex's tail gave a tentative wag. Perhaps, he thought, today would be different. Perhaps today would bring rest, a moment of unexpected kindness, a gentle hand. His trusting heart, so often unrewarded, still held onto a fragile hope. But instead of kindness, instead of rest, the man returned with a can. The acrid smell of gasoline filled the air, then the sickening splash as the liquid soaked into Rex's aging fur. The old dog flinched, confused, but remained tethered, his loyalty still holding him captive. And then, with a casual flick of the wrist, the man lit a match. The small flame danced, a harbinger of unimaginable agony. The neighbors heard the cries, the desperate, heart-wrenching howls of an animal in unimaginable torment. The sounds tore through the morning air, piercing the fragile peace of the suburban street. They knew what was happening. They knew the man, knew his reputation, knew the dog. But no one came. No one intervened. The curtains remained drawn, doors stayed shut. Fear, apathy, or perhaps a chilling belief that it's just a dog kept them silent, complicit in the horror unfolding just beyond their fences. This collective inaction is a moral stain, a testament to how easily humanity can turn a blind eye to suffering, how quickly we can rationalize away our ethical obligations. It speaks to a societal sickness where convenience and non-interference trump compassion and justice. By the time the screams subsided, replaced by an eerie, suffocating silence, Rex was gone. Just ash, scattered by the wind. Just smoke, dissipating into the indifferent sky, as if he had never existed. But he had. He existed in the fields he had tirelessly run, in the countless games he had won for his master, in the quiet, hopeful way he once waited by the door, his eyes filled with an unrequited yearning for love. He existed in the very fabric of loyalty, a concept so profound, so pure, that it shames the human capacity for betrayal. They say animals don't have souls. They say they are mere biological machines driven by instinct, devoid of higher thought or feeling. But then, what do we call loyalty that never fades, even in the face of neglect and abuse? What do we call eyes that look at you with profound forgiveness, even in the moment of ultimate betrayal? What do we call the capacity for unconditional love, given freely, without expectation of return? If these are not manifestations of a soul, then our definition of soul is tragically narrow, blinding us to the profound spiritual depth that exists beyond our own species. Rex's story challenges this anthropocentric arrogance, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable truth that perhaps in our dismissal of animal sentience, we diminish our own humanity. This is not merely the tragic story of a single dog. This is a profound, heartbreaking parable about the human condition, about our capacity for both immense love and unimaginable cruelty. It is a story about how easily we forget the most fundamental truths. We forget that love is not, and should never be, measured by usefulness or productivity. We forget that loyalty, especially the kind given so freely and unconditionally, deserves not just mercy, but profound respect and unwavering protection. We forget that living beings, regardless of species, are not tools to be used and discarded when their utility wanes. They are sentient individuals, deserving of dignity, compassion, and a life free from suffering. But perhaps, just perhaps, stories like Rex's can serve as a searing, unforgettable reminder, a painful mirror reflecting our own moral failings, urging us towards a better path. Somewhere in the vast, boundless sky, may Rex finally run free. No leash to bind him, no harsh orders to obey, no pain to endure. Just the boundless wind beneath his paws, the endless green grass stretching before him, and the profound, unburdened peace he was denied in life. And maybe, just maybe, there is a place beyond our comprehension where souls like his are not only recognized, but profoundly rewarded for the boundless love they gave, without ever truly receiving it back in kind. A place where justice, so absent in his earthly life, finally prevails. If this story broke your heart, if it stirred a deep ache within you, let it. Let that pain be a catalyst. Let it break the part of us that ever believed we had the right to decide when a living being stops being worthy of life, of care, of love. Let it shatter the illusion that our dominion over animals grants us the right to inflict such suffering. This is an ethical imperative, a moral reckoning. Write a comment below if you have ever known an animal who loved without condition, whose loyalty shamed the very concept of human transactional relationships. Like this video if you believe, with every fiber of your being, that no creature, regardless of species, should ever suffer for the natural process of aging, for the simple act of growing old. And subscribe to this channel for more true stories that speak the uncomfortable truths many choose to forget. Stories that demand our empathy and challenge our conscience. May we never grow so blind with power, so callous in our convenience, that we forget the fundamental imperative to be kind. And may the tragic, yet profoundly moralistic story of Rex live on, a haunting echo, a solemn vow, so that no dog, no soul, is ever burned into silence again. Let his memory be a beacon, guiding us towards a more compassionate, more just world for all living beings.